Bring the lights down low. Time for blood to flow. Ghosts and ghouls, you know what we mean. But all the terror that makes you scream. Some movies creep, some make you leap. There's killer plants or blobs. We cover them all on your favorite pod. So many horrors we can choose. Even when you win, you lose. Because the call is coming from inside the room. Life ends pretty fast. Some screams fade, but some chills will last. The killers stalk and then they slash. It's the 30-something movie podcast. The clock rings out the midnight chimes. We all go a little mad sometimes. Whatever you do, don't fall asleep. And if you're in space, they can't hear you scream.
It's the 30-something movie podcast. It's still October, so it's still spooky month. Hey guys,
Yes, it is.
how's it going? Is everybody feeling spooky tonight?
Yes, sure. Yes, have some.
Yes. Because if you look spooky, you will feel spooky, and you know what I mean. And you'll look marvelous. I am John Reed. I am the host of the 30-something movie podcast, and my fellow ghouls here with me this evening. Hopefully you guys still have all of your arms.
Oh yeah, that little.
Yeah. Bose is hanging on by a thread, but well, it'll fall off later, and it'll be like, oh, look, you're like the fugitive, man.
Oh, jeez.
I don't care.
Yes. And let me give you a hand with that. So yes, our movie tonight is Vampire in Brooklyn, the Eddie Murphy vampire movie. The Eddie Murphy Wes Craven vampire movie. This, I'm not gonna bury the lead here. This is the first time I'd ever seen this movie. And when Wes Craven's name came up as the director, I was like, what the what?
Yeah.
So that was not something that was in my encyclopedia of head knowledge.
Really?
So that was kind of fun to see.
Now, real quick, we'll cut right to it with this question. Egon, I want you to answer this. Pretend we don't know ancient Sumerian history. What's the history of Wes Craven and in movies? And is he, because the Scream movies haven't come out yet, right? We haven't talked about those.
Correct. Now, Scream will be next year.
Okay.
Scream is 96. So.
Did he really make his name with Scream, or was he a known quantity beforehand? Or
oh no, he was Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
So Freddy Krueger was kind of his big, that was his big introduction to the world. As far as I remember, I'm trying to remember if there were other times. Was there anything before Nightmare on Elm Street that was
I thought you were
notable? Last House on the Left, that one came out in the 70s. The Hills Have Eyes came out in the 70s. So, he did some other... Okay. Yeah, I take that back. Nightmare on Elm Street, I would say Nightmare on Elm Street probably his most successful and most popular movie.
Okay.
Kind of as his career was going. But no, he had actually been... Last House on the Left, he directed that in 72. The Hills Have Eyes...
Okay.
Yeah, Hills Have Eyes he directed in 1977. He directed the Swamp Thing movie in 1982.
All right.
And then Nightmare on Elm Street came in 1984. And then after that, he directed some episodes of The Twilight Zone in the 80s. He directed Shocker, The People Under the Stairs, New Nightmare, Vampire in Brooklyn. And then we start to get into Scream, Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4. And then I think at that point... Yeah. At that point, I think once we hit Scream 4, I think that's the last one he directed.
Okay. So, I obviously have no knowledge of him, and obviously this is not my chosen genre,
Mm-hmm.
but so it sounds like he is just like, at this point been super involved with a lot of the famous horror and kind of slasher and scary and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Movies that had been going for decades.
Yeah. And especially I think with the Nightmare on Elm Street stuff, kind of a combination of Nightmare on Elm Street and then Scream that will come later, kind of a horror, a mixture of horror and comedy, which depending on what you think of this movie, this movie is definitely definitely meant to be a blend of horror and comedy, because I don't think you cast Eddie Murphy as your main vampire if you don't want there to be comedy in it.
Right.
So, I mean, that was something he was kind of known
I
for.
would
Like,
hope not.
no. I think that was something he was kind of known for, especially like some of the Freddy Krueger stuff, how Freddy Krueger was always, kind of wisecracking, like creepy let's try saying that. Creepy wisecracking,
Right.
but definitely kind of doing some of those comedic one-liners.
Got it.
I'm your boyfriend now.
Hmm.
Ugh. But yeah. So Vampire Brooklyn is our movie this time around. Very, very quickly, we spoil freely as we speak here. So if you hear us talking about a movie, just maybe hit the skip button a couple of times, and then that should be enough time for us to have moved on to something else. Make sure you visit our website, 30thewordpodcast.com. You can leave a rating there, leave a voicemail. You could become a co-executive producer on Patreon over there. There's some bonus episodes for our Patreon folks. There's some free bonus episodes over there as well. We have one full-length episode each month, and then one short episode that we do, like a 10-15-minute thing each month. That's the free one. But yeah, we're so thankful for the people over there, because it really helps us to kind of keep things going. We're doing this for fun. If we did this as part of our regular job and salary, let's see, we would have to become vampires ghouls, because I don't think there'd be a way for us to make a living.
Not yet, John, but we shall find a way.
Not yet. The dream is still there, but
Yeah.
yeah. So thank you to all the folks over there on Patreon who are helping out the show in that way. We really, really appreciate it, and just thank you guys so much. And it's, as we say each and every time, it's been so much fun to get to know you all as well.
Yes. Agreed.
All right. I'm trying to think if there's any other noteworthy or newsworthy things around. Oh, the only thing I will say is, because my daughter pointed this out to me the other day, is I guess there is a new trailer. I haven't had a chance to see it yet. There's a new trailer for the Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein movie.
Oh.
So I believe, and it's sometimes, especially with the new school year starting and whatnot, I'm not as up to date on certain things as I typically would be. It has
Sure.
been my high school daughter that has kept me up to date on things, telling me, did I know that there were now 3 Frankenstein movies in the works?
Oh.
And I did not know that. So this one, I don't remember what the others were. I'd have to look them up. But this one, at least the Guillermo del Toro one, they did put out a trailer, I want to say within the last couple days. Haven't had a chance to watch it yet. But, anything he wants to do after, doing Hellboy and Pan's Labyrinth and some of those other pretty creepy movies, if he wants to do his own take on Frankenstein, please have some.
Yeah, that could
He
be
has
good.
earned the right.
Yeah. So other than that, I don't think I have any other newsworthy type stuff. So we can probably just dive right on into Vampire in Brooklyn here.
At first, man.
All right. So this one came out on October 27th, 1995, rated R. One runtime of 1 hour, 40 minutes, directed by Wes Craven, who did Nightmare on Elm Street and Scream. Writer was Eddie Murphy. There's actually a bunch of writers on this one. Eddie Murphy did Coming to America and Beverly Hills Cop 2. Charlie Murphy did Norbit and The Boondocks, the TV show. Vernon Lynch was also a writer, did a TV show called The Royal Family and Norbit. Michael Lucker, I want to say Vampire in Brooklyn might have been the only major film that he worked on. Chris Parker also did Norbit and Black Dynamite. Producers for this one, Eddie Murphy and Mark Lipsky. They together produced, or not together necessarily, but separately, they have produced The Nutty Professor, Life, Metro, and Boomerang. Composer was J. Peter Robinson, who did Wes Craven's New Nightmare and Scream. Cinematographer was Mark Irwin, who did The Hills Have Eyes and Scanners. Editor was Patrick Lussier. He did My Bloody Valentine 3D and Drive Angry. Production companies were Paramount Pictures and Eddie Murphy Productions. Budget was $14 million. Box office was $19.6 million. So not making back its budget necessarily. Once you factor in probably all the marketing and other stuff, was definitely a box office disappointment for them. Flickmetrics gives it a 46%. CinemaScore gives it a B+. B+, kind of a little bit on the lower end for a CinemaScore. Typically, if people are going to see, somebody that they really like and they're excited about it, they'll give it, somewhere in the A range. But I think as we get to talking about this, I think that's one of the reasons it didn't do well is I think people might have been expecting to see the fast-talking Eddie Murphy, and that's not what they got in this movie. So
Mhm.
that would be my guess as to why that CinemaScore is is a B+ and not higher.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Murphy plays Maximilian, Preacher Paulie, and Guido in this one. He was also in Coming to America and Beverly Hills Cop. Angela Bassett was Detective Rita Vedder. She was in Malcolm X and Black Panther. Alan Payne was Detective Justice. He was in New Jack City and Jason's Lyric. Kadeem Hardison was Julius Jones. He was in White Men Can't Jump and Drive. John Witherspoon, who passed in 2019, played Silas Green. He was in Friday, which we just talked about not that long ago, and the TV series The Boondocks. Zakes Moke passed away in 2009. He played Dr. Zeko. He was in The Serpent and the Rainbow and Cry Freedom. Joanna Cassidy was Captain Dewey. She was in Blade Runner and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And Simbi Kali was Nikki. She was in A Thin Line Between Love and Hate and Plump Fiction. I don't even know if I want to know what Plump Fiction is.
I'm just gonna. I'm gonna follow that one off, man.
We can
just
just sail right past that just in case.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not gonna follow it off. I'm just gonna let it sail right past.
Yeah, let it do its thing.
That's extraordinary. What would you like to do next?
There we go.
There it is, man. This is like award-winning pod happening right now. What we're doing.
If we ever released like the live show, if we ever brought people in onto the live recording of this, then they would get to see behind the curtain of all the stuff we do.
Yeah. I mean, and it is true art.
It is. We make art until someone dies.
Yes.
So this movie is one of the rarities among horror comedies because it features a predominantly black cast led by a black actor as both the star and the creative force. That doesn't tend to happen, or at least, especially at that time, did not tend to happen as much with horror movies.
Right.
So let's see, what else? It was kind of interesting that Angela Bassett was cast in this because she had recently reached some critical acclaim in What's Love Got to Do with It, the Tina Turner movie. And so, I mean, she was a pretty heavy hitter when it comes to actresses. And so for her to be cast in this horror comedy kind of says something about what they were hoping for with this one.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to give you a quick synopsis of the movie. We'll play the original trailer audio for this one, and then we will break this down into 10 major moments. So if you haven't seen this one or haven't seen it recently, then we can give you kind of a quick overview of this, and then we will dive into we'll sink our teeth into some of our deeper thoughts on this one.
See what you did there?
See what I did there? Yeah. The vampire puns they will be, by the end of the night, you guys are going to think I'm a real pain in the neck.
No, jeez.
I'm sorry, that sucked. Okay.
Oh, John, son of a gun.
Son of a gun. In a city haunted by shadows, one ancient vampire arrives with a deadly Oh, I forgot. I meant to do this because it was kind of fun doing it before. I'm going to read it in the opposite way you would want this to be read for a horror month movie. Let's do this differently. Let's do that.
Invert it.
In an instant replay. In a city haunted by shadows, one ancient vampire arrives with a deadly plan. Maximilian seeks Rita Vedder, the half-vampire detective battling her past. With Julius falling into darkness and justice in danger, the final hunt begins. Evil never sleeps. In Vampire in Brooklyn.
For centuries, they have roamed the earth. Fearsome creatures of the night, endlessly seeking to satisfy an unyielding hunger. Now, the world's last vampire is about to encounter something infinitely more terrifying than himself. Brooklyn.
Interesting. I've been stabbed, and I've been hanged. Even broken on the rack once, but I've never been shot before. It kind of itches a little.
Paramount Pictures presents...
If you're hungry, I'll run you down to KFC down the street and hit you off with a 2-piece.
I already had Italian.
Eddie Murphy.
Do I look like I would bite you?
Angela Bassett.
You bet not. Not after the day I've had.
Eddie Murphy.
Everything! Come on! Move it! Yeah, right.
There's a lot of love in this room. Look at this.
and Eddie Murphy.
Bottom line, brothers and sisters, what I'm trying to tell you tonight is that evil is good. Let me hear y'all say it. Evil is good. That's right.
If he fails here,
Quickest way to a woman's heart is through the church.
It's actually through the rib cage, but that's a bit messy.
being undead
You got the dropsies.
won't be worth living.
I'm a cop. If you try anything funny, I'll shoot you.
Women.
Vampire in Brooklyn.
I would love to have you for dinner.
All right. So for this one, we start off with a mysterious shipwreck. A derelict ship crashes into a Brooklyn dock filled with mutilated corpses. Ship Inspector Silas and his nephew Julius are among the first on the scene, with Julius fleeing after encountering a wolf. The wolf transforms into Maximilian, a centuries-old vampire. After dispatching some gangsters, he turns Julius into a decaying, loyal ghoul by forcing him to drink some vampire blood. Detective Rita Vedder, unaware that she has some half-vampire lineage, is haunted by visions and grief over her mother's death, leading to alienation from her colleagues, and she just kind of has this general feeling that something's not quite right with her life. Max ends up killing Rita's roommate Nikki and manipulates Rita into believing that Nikki and her partner Justice were romantically involved. That starts to isolate her even more because there was a little something maybe going on between Rita and her partner Justice. Disguising himself as various people, Max starts to manipulate Rita even more. He saves her from an accident, seduces her, and bites her during a magical dinner at Julius's now very glamorous-looking apartment. There is kind of a funny scene in here as well where he turns himself into the preacher and ends up going to the church. And we can talk more about that in just a little bit, but I thought that was kind of a funny scene where he walks into the church and there's all the crosses around, and he's like, we gotta go have the service outside today.
Yeah, his hair was smoking. That was funny.
And then we're trying to stay family friendly, so I can't repeat a lot of the stuff he starts saying and getting the rest of the congregation to chant with him. But he's like the whole routine of this is I think the old school comedic Eddie Murphy that people were expecting to see. You know, doing the different characters, being the different people, that whole thing of, because this makes me think back to when we had talked about The Distinguished Gentleman. Is you know, you had that whole scene in Congress where he's like, the congressman whose name is Dick, and they start chanting "Dick is good," and he gets everybody to start chanting that over and over again, and he's getting everybody in the church that evil is good. Say it with me, say it with me. Evil is good. So it sounded very much like Distinguished Gentleman. So it's a little bit of a. It felt maybe a little bit of a copy paste from one movie to another, but still fun Eddie Murphy stuff. Justice, investigating Julius and the ship deaths, finds that Rita's visions are coming true, reinforcing the fact that they seem eerily accurate. He warns Rita, who begins to sense some changes in herself. Rita confronts Max and learns about her vampire heritage, her father's fate, and her mother's descent into madness. Max urges her to embrace that transformation because he doesn't want to be the last vampire in existence. He needs her to fully turn so that they can be vampires together. Max takes Rita out to hunt a victim, but she refuses to feed, which weakens her. She retreats to a cemetery to pray and seek some divine intervention. And in the end, Justice and Dr. Zico try to save Rita. During the standoff, Max offers Rita his blood to complete her transformation, and despite the temptation, she chooses humanity and stabs him through the heart with a cross. With Max dead and Rita cured, Julius finds Max's magical ring. Upon wearing it, he transforms into a fully rejuvenated vampire, hinting at a potential new legacy. And if you wanted to, I guess you could hint at the idea that there could be a Vampire in Brooklyn too. Electric Boogaloo. All right. I think that's it. I think we covered the entire plot of the movie. We'll dive into some more of these as we go along, but now it's time for some deep thoughts.
And now, deep thoughts.
All right. Is this the first time you had seen this movie?
Yeah, I hadn't even heard of it.
Oh, okay.
definitely not the first time I've seen it. I love this movie.
Okay. I kind of figured from the way you had reacted when it was on the list, it was like, oh yeah, Bo knows this movie.
Oh yes, I love this movie.
Yeah.
Like made my wife watch it. Love it.
Was it her first time watching it?
Well, not this time around. She
Not this
didn't
time,
watch
okay.
it with me this time, but I have made her watch it
Oh, okay.
because I like it so much.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Does she enjoy it?
Eh. She didn't hate it. She saw it for what it was, but it was definitely not on her list of rewatchable movies.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Does she tend to be an Eddie Murphy fan?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not Eddie Murphy. Maybe is it more the subject matter?
I think so.
Okay.
I think vampires just doesn't do it for her.
Yeah.
And so, Yeah. But what I thought she would like about it was that she does like Freddy and the classic horror type stuff to a point.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe, but
Well, yeah, especially Wes Craven being in charge of this whole thing.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, I had not seen this all the way through. I think I might have seen bits and pieces of it at different times. I knew of it, so I had heard of it before, and I was never quite on my radar. And I think there's a stretch of time where I want to say after Coming to America and the first couple of Beverly Hills Cop movies, I think that's where my enjoyment of Eddie Murphy starts to kind of drop off. And so I think knowing that I had not enjoyed quite as much some of his other movies from around this time, from the 90s kind of onward, I kind of probably avoided this one a little bit, even though vampires, when it comes to horror movies and horror comedies and things like that, like vampires, especially younger in life, vampires were kind of my thing. That was kind of my horror jam, was Dracula stories and vampire stories and stuff like that. So it's a little surprising that I didn't end up watching this one, but I think it was probably more this is the time period of Eddie Murphy movies where I'm not quite as keyed in as I was on the stuff from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So let's jump directly to Pat, because Pat, you said this was a first time viewing and you'd never even heard of it before. So give us your initial thoughts on it.
I enjoyed it. It was really fun. I like Eddie Murphy a lot. I like his movies. It was interesting seeing, a master comedian, one of the greatest ever, paired with, a guy that's synonymous with horror. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. There was one thing in particular that I found, I don't want to say problematic. I don't want to say that I bumped on, but there was one thing in particular that I just found very curious that we can get into later, unless, no, I don't know, now's the time.
Go for it.
But okay, but yeah, and actually, I didn't even finish my first thought. It was fun seeing Eddie Murphy as a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's been a bad guy in anything else. And so that leads into the one thing that I felt an interesting choice was, or a choice, but an interesting, maybe it's just a byproduct. Eddie Murphy is very charismatic, and his characters, even in Beverly Hills Cop or Coming to America, or even The Distinguished Gentleman, there's a humanity there, right? Where he gives off, his characters give off this yeah, okay, he's silly, he's probably going to con you with things, but it's all tongue in cheek. I didn't mean anything. Think of the scene in Beverly Hills Cop, spoilers, when he orders the dinner for the guys on stakeout, and then they ditched him, and he's like, now wait a minute, hang on, all right, I'm really sorry. And remember, they got punished. Yeah. Bogomil gave us 2 weeks on whatever, and he's just like, oh, he did? Oh, okay, I feel bad about that. Look, yeah, I am messing with you, but the sandwiches, I know what it's like to be on stakeout. That was genuine. And you get this feeling that, yeah, he does care about people. And I find that in all his roles. When he plays, what's his name in Coming to America? Prince, what was it?
Akeem?
Prince Akeem. Prince Akeem, when he speaks, he seems like he really just seems like a genuinely nice guy. Like the tender moments that he has with the gal that he's trying to, make his queen.
Right.
So I really, that comes across for me, that really comes across in the roles that he plays. And in this, he's playing a bad guy, which in some things, like when he first appears and he's going after the drug dealers, and when he gets the ghoul, and when he's trying to, he's like, women, like all that, man, that was cool. But then there was some times where he was trying to actually just speak to her, like, look, the scene where he comes at her again and he's like, look, my friend was drunk. I'm sorry what he was saying the other. Well, that genuine nice guy comes out, and it's like, well, wait a minute. This isn't the character. Like it's a weird thing, because okay, I guess it is all an act, because he ends up being like the main bad guy, right? Like he's a genuine bad guy in it. And so it's kind of like this thing, like, oh wait, he's coming across as like the genuine nice Eddie Murphy character, but he's really he's the evil bad guy in this. He's a murderer. He's,
Right.
and 90% of it, I'm like, yeah, it's cool seeing Eddie Murphy as a bad guy. But then there's that 10% of the time he's like coming across as that and he can't get away from it. Like that's just kind of in my mind who he is and what he brings to each one of his characters. And so I don't know if that's writing. I don't know if that's directing. I don't know if that's just making sure that they feature the scenes where he is, doing evil things and all that, and it wasn't during the impersonations, like when he pretended to be the preacher, or when like that very much was in line with him being that evil character. But like the tender moments when he's speaking to her, it's like, wow, that he's really looking like the nice guy here. I feel like I'm looking at Prince Akeem, and that just felt a little weird. And then part of me thought, like, if they really wanted to rewrite the film, maybe have like, two vampires. There's the real evil vampire, and then there's the, the one that's the bad guy, but not a bad guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that would involve a whole rewrite of the film. And I don't think he needs to be a good guy. I think it's cool seeing him be a bad guy. But there was that one little bit of the time that he just kind of would come across, and I'm like, wow, this guy, he's a really good guy. Why is he acting like this? So that, which didn't really take away from the movie. It was just something that I found amusing.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
I had a thought about this after I had watched it, and I was like, if they had maybe balanced, there's part of me, so I'm gonna give away some of my deeper thoughts on this, but if they had balanced, I thought it was fine. Like I thought the movie was fine. I did think there were a few times here and there where I could see where, and to a very small degree, I experienced it too, where I was like, is this a horror or a comedy? Because I'm not sure I'm feeling like it's a balanced horror comedy. There are definitely comedy moments, and there's definitely some horror moments, but I'm almost feeling like they're too separate from each other at times. Still a fun movie, and I still, really had a lot of fun watching it. But there are moments after I watched this where I was like, what would have been a really fun mashup is if Eddie Murphy had gone full villain in this one, still doing some of his crazy Eddie Murphy stuff. But if he, and even like the look and feel of this movie, kind of like the, I don't know, what do I want to call it? Urban Gothic kind of look of this movie. This could be a really interesting mashup between Vampire in Brooklyn and Blade. So if you wanted to do like Eddie Murphy as the villain vampire and Wesley Snipes as Blade, the vampire hunter, like I could see that being kind of a fun movie.
Yeah.
It definitely leans more on the horror comedy side of things than what most of the Blade movies were doing, but
yeah. And I got to be honest with you, it was occurring to me, and I was really liking it. Like seeing Eddie Murphy be the bad guy, I realized that who was the actor that was the ghoul?
Yeah, his name
Kadeem Hardison.
Kadeem Hardison, yep.
And he was also Dwayne Wade in a different world, right? Do I have that right?
I believe so.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, which is where I first met him.
Yes.
Well, met him, was introduced to him. I found it interesting because he was playing more of the fast-talking, silly, comedic character.
Right.
And Eddie Murphy was more serious. And I really dug that. Those scenes I thought were fantastic.
Yeah.
I really liked that. And what's interesting though is I'm thinking of the Eddie Murphy movies that I've seen, and I don't think Eddie Murphy plays. I'm going to say not silly, and take that for what I mean. He's not like a buffoon,
No.
right? He's very funny,
Yeah.
and he's very in control of the situation. And sometimes the characters that the guys that he assumes are silly, but he is very much intelligent and in control of the situation.
Right.
It's whereas in this, the Kadeem Hardison character was goofy. He was kind of more of like buffoon.
Right.
But I think what I'm trying to say is that typically Eddie Murphy is the source of the comedy, and he's playing off other people,
Right.
right? And in this, Kadeem Hardison is the source of the comedy, playing off of Eddie Murphy's, vampire. And man, that just worked. I thought that aspect of the movie was just great. I really like that.
Well, and you had, I mean, and not even just him, but John Witherspoon from
Yes.
Friday. You had, he was very much like the dad.
He's so fun.
So much like the dad in Friday, just Mr. Jones from Friday, because
he even says it in the first scene. Ain't that a bitch?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was almost waiting for a moment. I was almost waiting for a moment of him like coming out of a bathroom and having Eddie Murphy as the vampire or Julius as the ghoul standing there being like, well, don't go in there because it smells like something died. Like, I half expected that. Like, you don't want to stay out of there for a minute, but yes. So I think to your point, you see a little bit less. And I wonder if that's why it was a box office failure and, why it took a cult following later on for this to be one that kind of continued on in popularity. Was it because people went to the theater to see Eddie Murphy do all those things, and Eddie Murphy was kind of taking I don't know if he was trying to do something different or what, but he definitely in the comedy department, unless it's the times he transforms into someone else like the preacher, he definitely takes a back seat to the fast talking, wisecracking character, and you've got Hadim and John Witherspoon that are taking up that role. So I wonder if that's probably where people bumped on this a bit, was they probably went to the theater and they're like, I'm here to see an Eddie Murphy movie. And it was people other than Eddie Murphy were handling the duties that he would normally perform.
Right. Yeah.
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 But hilarious. I mean, for him, for the two of them, for Hadim and John Witherspoon to play those characters and I'm sorry, I keep saying Kadim. I'm trying to mix his the first and last name together.
Yes.
But for them to play off each other is just, they're just hilarious throughout this entire movie.
Yep.
He at one point his arm falls off. He's like, boy, you put that arm back on, you're gonna look like the fugitive over here.
It is. It's funny writing.
Yeah. And then you got some other stuff too. I mean, Eddie Murphy does have some kind of fun one-liners. He's like, if you want something to eat, I got a place I can take you. And he spits out the one guy's ear. He's like, that's okay, I've already had Italian.
Yeah.
Which let me ask you this one, as someone with Italian heritage, how did you feel about the scene where he plays Guido?
Yeah.
Was that funny? Was that funny or was it problematic at all?
It was. I didn't find that problematic.
Okay.
But
all right. Okay.
I think that that's just,
especially it almost, as everybody's taking out their weapons, it almost for a minute felt like a Naked Gun movie.
Right.
It's like, there's a lot of love in this room.
Yeah.
And then the fact that he's in an Italian restaurant and he gets angry because there's so much garlic in there.
Right. Yeah, I found it a humorous movie.
Oh. Which, by the way, Pat, I don't want to like derail the rest of your night and week and weekend. Do you still have Paramount Plus right now?
I don't, but
Okay.
I should probably get it again because
because the new Naked Gun movie is streaming on Paramount Plus now.
Oh, is it now?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I should probably get that again.
Okay. All right.
Time to re-up. Maybe I kind of trade my streaming services, and maybe once cross country and is done, and this next round of band concerts is done, I'll pick it up another month and then catch up on all the things that I need to catch up on.
Yeah, we kind of do the same. We do the little switcheroo every now and then, so we're not having to pay for a ton of stuff. But I have a slight little detour from Vampire in Brooklyn, but the Greatest Generation guys, while there is not any new Star Trek that's coming out right now, they are going back and they're calling it This Old Enterprise, and they're doing original series Star Trek now.
Oh, that's awesome.
So they've started with the original pilot, the unaired
pilot.
Oh,
kid. Man.
Yep, they started with the with the Captain Pike pilot.
And they had already done that once.
They had, yes. In fact, I think they were just re-airing the recording they did several years ago.
Yeah.
Which I would really, I will have to listen, because it'll be interesting to see. It's interesting to see how they tie Enterprise in with that, and all the nods they give to that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a little bit that's, you just can't get past it, that it's the 1960s.
Right.
Boy, I just don't know if I'll ever get used to having a woman on the bridge. Oh, clang.
Uh-huh.
Oh, heavens to Betsy. That is not the utopia future that we all thought of.
Yep.
Let's go back to the captain's quarters and have a scotch.
Well, if you don't like this woman, we brought you 2 more.
Yeah.
Right. That's wonderful. So anyway,
but
that's one of the
I'll
reasons.
have to check that out.
That's one of the reasons I still have it and still use it, is because I'm still trying to, anytime that they put out a new episode, I'm trying to watch whatever they're going to talk about before. And it has been a long time since I have gone back and rewatched original series Trek. And
really?
Now, thankfully, having the app that I have and having the subscription for right now, I'm going through and I'm rewatching each of the original series Trek before they talk about it.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I think I gotta rewatch the original series too. There's a lot of really good. I mean, hello, we're all Trek fans here, so I mean, I know I'm basically stating the obvious, but there's a lot of really good stuff there.
He was stating the obvious again.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There's also, I'm just gonna say this, and I hate to be kind of one track mind.
A one track mind.
One track mind.
Uh-huh.
Or here's the transition, a one trick pony. But I want to say that Taylor Sheridan has a documentary that follows around a bunch of cowboys that in a reining competition. They follow them around while they do reining. And I think it's called The Last Cowboy. Okay. It's not The Last Rodeo. The Last Rodeo is like a movie.
Sure.
But this one's like a documentary, and I think it's on Paramount Plus.
Okay.
And some folks at
Most
folks
of his
at the barn
stuff
were,
is, so that would make sense.
Yeah, and some of the folks at the barn were saying, it's pretty incredible. So I want to check that out.
Nice.
What movie were we talking about again?
We were talking about Vampire
in Brooklyn.
Yeah. So now that we've gotten
or Eddie Murphy drinks some blood.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, Pat, now that you've kind of been introduced to this and we got your stuff on this, Bo, why do you love this movie so much?
Yeah, I want to hear this.
Well, it's Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
For one. And the genre has always been a favorite of mine. So you put the two together and I can't really lose. I'm not a huge fan of straight up gore horror like Saw and that kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
But this works for me and always has for whatever reason. So you got Eddie Murphy, you've got Witherspoon, you've got Angela Bassett, and they're just being it's just silly. But it's silly in trying to think of a way to put it in perspective, but it's silly and fun for me.
Mm-hmm. And
it does another thing I like, and it takes the old school mythos of the vampire and sort of turns it on its ear a little bit. The little jabs he takes at the beginning to the Carpathian Mountains and says, but more cultured vampires went to the Bermuda Triangle. That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That's funny. You know, the whole opening scene is hysterical with the boat plowing in and the two guys on the dock and just the whole thing. And I think it's just a farce, and I think that's why I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, same thing. I really enjoy. I enjoy. I mean, I enjoy good horror comedy. Right up there with the Evil Dead movies, and I remember now. I haven't seen it. I know we've got it coming up here within the next couple of weeks, but I have not seen it except for when it first came out. But I remember watching Dracula Dead and loving it.
Yeah.
And as a kid, thinking that one was hilarious. Now we'll see as an adult if that still holds up. But so let me ask you that too. Then we haven't discussed that one yet. We will in a couple of weeks. Between these two, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer Vampire in Brooklyn or Dracula Dead and Loving It?
I think I'm going to need to see Dracula Dead and Loving It again
Okay.
before I can really weigh in on that.
Yeah.
But if you ask me right now, actually, if you asked me yesterday, before I'd finished rewatching this one,
Yeah.
I would say this one. But that's still recency bias for me because this one I rewatch, I'm not saying all the time,
Yeah.
but I have rewatched this one because of Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
I haven't gone back to Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Sure. Yeah.
But as far as which is a better movie, we'll reserve judgment for 2 weeks from now.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, what it comes down to for this one, as I'm watching it, and like I said, I saw bits and pieces, but didn't necessarily see from beginning to end until just within the last few days or so. I think like I can see a good blending of the horror comedy part of it. I wonder if Wes Craven working on this one is kind of working out some of the stuff that he will get more developed by the time he gets to Scream. I'm wondering if maybe just in my viewing of it, if this would have felt more cohesive if this one had been done after the Scream movies, if he had done a little bit more of the blending of the horror comedy. I don't know. And for the most part, I think that this movie does a pretty good job of being both a little horror and a little comedy. I do think there are a few times here and there where it feels a little disjointed. That doesn't mean I don't enjoy the movie. It's just there were moments where I was like, "Oh, that seemed to go a little harder than I would expect for a horror comedy," or "Oh, that was a little more comedy than I would expect from a horror comedy." I think in particular, like, and scenes that I loved, I think in particular, like the church scene, I was like, that felt very much it felt out of place for a moment in this movie. Not that I didn't enjoy it, not that it wasn't classic Eddie Murphy stuff, but it did for a moment feel like a completely different movie. Now, they were able to bring it back to, like you said, like as he's in the church, like his head is smoking and, he's pointing out all the things that, that people have done that they were trying to keep secret and stuff like that. So yes, it ties into his whole thing as a vampire, but something about how it fit into the overall movie, it just felt a bit off. Like the universes were vibrating at just slightly off wavelengths. Not enough for me not to enjoy the movie, but enough for me to at least notice it. So I think that's about the only criticism I've got for this one. Otherwise, it's Eddie Murphy. It's a lot of fun. The other side characters in this are hilarious too. The fact that Kadeem and John Witherspoon at the end of this movie have basically won the lottery and they've got the limo and they're going to live the vampire life from here on out that's kind of a fun ending to it. And I don't really have too many other things I can say that to criticize the movie. I think it does a pretty good job for what it was meant to be. And it in a lot of ways doesn't, to me, something about it doesn't feel like a Wes Craven movie. So I wonder if that's a combination of Wes Craven being the director, but also Eddie Murphy probably wanting to pretty heavily influence some of the direction of this movie and the tone of the movie and things like that. But yeah, a lot of fun, especially for a first time viewing. It was a lot of fun to watch. We seem to
Great soundtrack.
Oh yeah, the soundtrack was awesome.
Did I interrupt a thought? Were you going to make another thought?
No. I was just going to say, it seems like this October, more so than others we've had in the past, we seem to be heavy on the horror comedies this month.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I think some of the films we're getting into in the next couple of weeks will probably change that slightly, but
A little bit. Are you talking about The Addiction?
yes.
Yeah, just a tad. Yeah.
So
We're going to try to balance it out. We'll have plenty of horror comedy, but we'll balance it with Jacob's Ladder and The Addiction.
I was gonna say, yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
is a balance. No, fantastic soundtrack.
Yeah.
Really, really good soundtrack. I mean, like, I might go out and get this soundtrack, good soundtrack. And not only like the tunes that, pop tunes they put in there, but like the actual orchestral score was fun to listen to as well.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Do we have anything else we want to say about Vampire in Brooklyn before we dive into 3 questions?
It's fun. If you like Eddie Murphy, see it. If you're a big Wes Craven fan, I'm not sure it's right up your alley. You kind of have to know what you're going in for.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that being said, if you're going in for a classic Eddie Murphy comedy, there's just a little more gore than you might be looking for.
Sure. Yeah.
It sits in an interesting middle ground, but I think as comedy horror, it's up there for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. All right. It is time for 3 questions.
He asks each traveler 5 questions.
3 questions.
Well, were they cycles? Or?
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Quid pro quo. I tell you things, you tell me things.
I'm not interrupting anything, am I? You look deep in thought.
So I'll ask you the questions and then we'll see, all right?
All right. Question number 1. What is your favorite horror comedy that isn't part of the Evil Dead franchise?
So, what qualifies as horror to make something horror comedy changes my answer.
Okay.
So when you picture horror, what qualities exist to put something in the horror genre?
When I think of horror, I think of something that has elements of fear, suspense, maybe some gore, maybe some supernatural elements. Doesn't have to be supernatural, but I think definitely has to be something that evokes fear and suspense.
Okay, but fear and suspense is okay.
And then comedy on the flip side of that. Comedy I think of as being like it's humor, it's satire or parody, it's things are a little absurd, could be a little campy. So yeah, those would be if you're blending those together.
So,
yeah.
I had some in mind, and then I took to the internet.
Go for it.
And I looked up some lists, and there was one that popped up on a list of the 40 best horror comedy films.
Okay.
That is a favorite movie of mine that I didn't think of. And so I felt a little silly. How do we feel about Clue as an answer?
Would I categorize that as horror?
Right. This was where I was having trouble.
I don't.
Did it have the supernatural? I mean, it was a murder mystery and a thriller and suspense, but I mean,
yeah.
And that was sort of where I was, but it was on their list, and I feel like if that qualifies, then that's got to be my answer.
Yeah.
If not, then
I don't know. I don't know that to me that's more of a mystery.
I agree.
I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know that I classify that as a horror.
Okay.
I think we need to investigate who came up with this list and have a conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think I would have thought of Clue as being a horror movie.
Okay.
That's interesting, though.
I agree.
Yeah, because I don't think just
the
because
obvious answer then is Ghostbusters.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good one.
I think I'm going to daily double go on that one.
Yeah, daily double the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
This one, There's so many to choose from. There's Ghostbusters. There's Beetlejuice. But I know I kind of, for my own, to make it more of a challenge for me, that's why I took the Evil Dead stuff out. Gosh, there's so many other, like Cocaine Bear was hilarious. Well, the answer. I was looking at. I think I was looking at the same article you were there for just a second. Did you guys, either of you, ever see Ready or Not?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
I have not.
All right. At some point, now, Bo, I know you said you don't necessarily care for gore, but this movie occasionally uses some gore for very good comedic effect.
Okay.
So there's the occasional maybe explosion of blood, but it's done in such a way that, like you'd expect from a good horror comedy. The basic premise of the movie is it's Ready or Not. It was from 2019. This woman has married into a well-to-do family, and they got their millions from board games. So that was kind of like the grandfather, great grandfather, whatever he was. He created board games, and that's how they got their fortune. And what she doesn't know, as the movie starts off, is they've just gotten married. She and one of the younger sons in the family have just gotten married. And what she doesn't know is that anybody marrying into the family, they have to play a game on the night of their wedding. And this box picks the game that they're going to play, and the game that it picks is hide and seek. And the idea is, and she thinks that this is all just a game, but the idea is that in this mansion that they're all in, they basically are going to like lock the doors and everything else. She has to survive until dawn if she wants to stay in the family. And they really and truly are trying to kill her. So it's not like it's just a game.
Interesting.
So it's kind of a fun and funny kind of take on that. But yeah, that one's definitely a horror comedy. I saw that one on the list. I was like, oh, that one would be up there. This might just be recency bias too, but I think, and there's so many others like Beetlejuice and so many other classics, Ghostbusters, of course. I think just because I always get such a chuckle out of the TV show, the movie, anytime I'll see a clip of it on TikTok or somewhere like that, I really, really enjoy What We Do in the Shadows. Like, if you guys have never, even if you get a chance to watch just maybe like one episode of the TV show, even if you don't do like the full-blown movie version of it, it is hilarious. It's the basic idea, especially with the movie that they did. The basic idea is you've got a bunch of vampires living as roommates in a house together, and it's kind of like a mockumentary style thing where they're kind of talking about each other, and the documentary crew is kind of following them around as they do vampire-y things. And the original is an Australian movie. In fact, it's Taika Waititi is one of the actors in it, and I believe was the director of it. The TV show takes place in America, but it's still, for the most part, they're either British or kind of Eastern European type characters, but it takes place in America, and the TV show is also hilarious. So I'm trying to remember. I think it was on FX, so I don't know where it would be streaming, but I'm going to go with that one because I just finished watching, I think it was the 6 or 7 seasons of the TV show. I just finished that not that long ago, and I was so sad that was over. So that'll be mine.
All right.
Number 2, if you were going to be transformed into a classic movie monster, which one would you choose?
I hate to go the easy route, but I think vampire. It seems the closest to human, and the benefits are better than most.
Mm-hmm.
Long life, good health-ish.
Yeah.
The blood craving's a whole nother thing.
Sure.
But if you follow some of the newer updated vampire lore, like there are ways around the true blood sacrifices.
True blood, yeah.
A not fantastic but somewhat amusing portrayal of vampires can be found in Discovery of Witches, which I think is on Netflix now.
Yeah.
Decent series. Good books from what I've heard. I stumbled upon the show, so I haven't read the books, but I've heard they're very good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
okay.
It seems like recency bias because we're sitting here talking about a vampire movie.
Vampires, yeah.
But I think of all the other ones, zombies doesn't work for me for sure. Werewolf seems painful, and when you shift back, you're usually naked. Like there's problems.
Yeah.
Right.
Vampire kind of works for me.
It's like the Incredible Hulk problem. It's like if you're a werewolf or an Incredible Hulk, you just really need to have some very stretchy pants because that's about the
Right.
only thing that's going to survive.
Yep. Yes.
All right, so Bo's going vampire.
I'll go the Wolfman.
Okay.
Wolves are cool.
Yeah.
That would be, in my mind, the closest to being like Wolverine. So I'll go with that.
That's true. I didn't think of it that way. That's true. Okay. Well, I considered all those, and I thought I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know that I want to. Yeah, the whole having this intense desire to drink blood. I don't know that appeals to me very much. I don't know if the Wolfman thing does either, because then you're not in control of your actions and whatnot. Now I know it kind of was causing him to go insane, but I was also trying to think like what is the one that maybe allows me to retain as much of my humanity as possible, but still be one of these like classic universal movie monsters. And so I was leaning towards the Invisible Man.
There you go.
So his biggest weakness is that it kind of the whole experiment that was done and the fact that he can't be seen by anyone, it does start to kind of drive him insane.
Yeah.
So there is that part of it, but I might lean towards that one. Also recency bias because that was my Halloween costume last year.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. I bought way too many bandages at CVS, but it was a lot of fun.
But you got plenty of backups.
I got them now in case something horrible happens.
Yeah.
All right, number 3. If Eddie Murphy was unavailable, what other 80s comedian would you have cast as Maximilian in this movie?
80s comedian. I felt like I had a good answer for this earlier, but
that's a stumper. I think you with the 3 questions you just stumped us.
This is not the answer I had before because it's not coming to me to save my life right now. But Richard Pryor.
Oh, that'd be
a good choice.
That would be a good one.
George Carlin was the one I had earlier.
Oh,
that's who it was.
George Carlin would be good.
He'd be fantastic.
He would be good. Yeah.
Dice.
Oh yeah.
But Dice, unfortunately, Dice is a ghoul, not a vampire.
Yeah.
And not suave enough to be a vampire?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No.
Well, okay, so recast it. George Carlin, Andrew Dice Clay, Rodney Dangerfield is the uncle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see that.
And then the Dark Horse. The guy who it makes no sense. But it didn't really make sense for Eddie Murphy at the time to play one either. Jerry Seinfeld.
I kind of knew that's where you were going to go.
Oh, yeah.
What's the deal?
What's the deal?
With what?
I mean, what's the deal with the sun coming up? No blood for you.
Ay.
We're here every week, folks.
Yeah.
It's the hemoglobin Nazi. No blood for you.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Maybe because it's true.
Yeah. You could have picked anybody from Seinfeld.
It's true. Anyone would work there.
Welcome to Transylvania. I am the master of my domain. I will not drink any blood. Yeah, I mean, you guys know me well enough to know that the option I went with was Robin Williams.
Yeah.
I really think I want to see a Good Morning Transylvania.
Oh yeah.
It's 0600. What's the O stand for? Oh my God, the sun's about to come up.
Oh my God, it's early. I pulled that one out the other day.
Did you?
I can't remember why we had to be at work early, but a couple of us did, and I was like, "Ooh."
Yeah. Yeah, I could see Robin Williams. I could see that being kind of a cross between, I was trying to think of something earlier. I was like a cross between like the Robin Williams kind of craziness, like I don't know, like a Good Morning Vietnam kind of thing, or just like his usual craziness in some of his other movies, kind of crossed over with some of the, he's going a little, things are a little off, slowly kind of losing his mind a little bit like a Fisher King.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see that, like maybe the centuries of being a vampire are causing him to kind of, lose things a bit and maybe separate a bit from his humanity. And that's something that the movie would have to address. But yeah, I think in something like that, I'm pretty much always going to choose Robin Williams.
Good call. Good call.
But now you got me picturing Kramer as a vampire.
Yeah.
Jerry, you got a coffin? I got a coffin.
I got a coffin. Newman.
All good options. Pat, did we get yours?
Whether you did or not, you guys took all the ones that I would say. I just can't add to that list.
Yeah.
I think you hit everybody.
Yeah.
You said George Carlin, right?
We did. Yeah. Bo had mentioned George Carlin.
Okay.
I think that George Carlin would be.
Then we said everyone. Yep. Then we said everyone.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about that. Like Johnny Carson. You're a Johnny Carson vampire.
Well, I mean, you could do. I guess I was being
find
sexist. I didn't even consider any of the women.
Yeah, you could have like a Joan Rivers vampire.
Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Roseanne.
Yeah.
Oh, you know who we didn't mention? I didn't think about him. Sam Kinison.
Oh yeah.
Gotta process what that story would be.
Yeah, a lot of screaming.
Yeah.
Like not so much the kind of stealthy, quiet vampires, but yeah.
Announce themselves before they enter the room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be interesting. A very loud vampire. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's going to do it for Vampire in Brooklyn. We've got a lot of other really great episodes coming out this month. We have on Patreon, we're gonna have Lord of Illusions from 1995. Our Patreon short this month is Tank Girl from 1995. So far this month, we have also done The Prophecy. We were a little delayed on it, but Jeff and I just finished up. And before this one will have come out, you will have also seen the release of our 10th anniversary rewatch of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So that one will have just come out probably a few days ago before this one comes out.
Can't wait to listen.
Then we got this one. We got The Addiction after that. Then we got our 10th anniversary rewatch of Jacob's Ladder from 1990 after that. Then Dracula Dead and Loving It. And we end the month with Species. So got a lot of good stuff. Again, a little heavy on some horror comedy this time around than other years we've had in the past. And also heavy on the vampires this month. So
yes,
a lot of vampire stuff going on. But that's okay. That's nothing wrong with vampires.
No.
It's all good stuff. But thank you, Bo, and thank you, Pat, for being here.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
As always, everybody, we hope that you go watch some good movies, go watch some scary movies, and then we will see you back. If you survive, we'll see you back here next time.
You're listening to the 30-something movie podcast. One movie each week, 30 years in the making.
Psychos? They look like psychos? Is that what they look like? They were vampires. Psychos do not explode when sunlight hits them. I don't give a how crazy they are.